When I was growing up, every night before school, Mom would ask me what I wanted for lunch the next day. And honestly, I think that question produced a lot of dread in both of us because I never knew what I wanted to eat. And time went on and I became an adult and I was single. I didn't really plan what I wanted to eat. I just ate what I wanted to eat. I wanted Chick-fil-A. I bought some Chick-fil-A. I wanted lean cuisine in my dorm at 2 a.m. I ate lean cuisine in my dorm at 2 a.m. And then you become an adulty adult, and then you have a husband and a kid and a dog who all rely on you for food. And the dog is pretty easy because he eats the same food every day. Like literally every day. But for some reason, the humans don't want to do that. So what do? We meal plan. And it's a good system. Once a week, you sit down and pick out your meals, and then you don't have to think about it again, right? So the stress is off, unless you really don't do a good job of meal planning. And then your Saturday nights look like this. So I've got Wednesday, we've got plans. And then I'll just do spaghetti on Tuesday. I always end up with spaghetti. And then we've got a group on Monday. So that leaves Thursday, Friday, Saturday with... Hey babe, is there anything you want for supper this week? Are there any suppers you want this week, like anything in particular? Well, I've got spaghetti, but then we're having that group over on Monday. I know I did soup last week. Naomi, do you have any preference? You know, dinner ideas or anything? Right, but milk is always on the table. So, anything else? Cool. I mean, there's always Chick-fil-A. There's always Chick-fil-A. So I'm at the point where something's got to give. I don't want to spend 2 hours on Saturdays planning our meals for the week, but I do want to plan our meals for the week. And I want to plan good meals, and I don't want to forget about the meals that we really like that then I suddenly lose into the abyss of my Pinterest boards that I made in middle school and have arranged really weirdly. And I think I have an idea, and I think it's gonna work, but we're gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna break down what I wanna do. We're gonna try it out for a couple weeks, see if it's practical, see if I need to make changes, and we'll go from there. So welcome to my meal planning revamp.
My first step in all of this was actually printing out the recipes I use all the time and typing up some of the ones that are in my cookbooks.
Alright, so it is Saturday night and that means it's time to meal plan. Got my mug of green tea ready and everything is printed out. I'm gonna put it on my homemaking binder for now. So I'm gonna organize everything. I'm just gonna use sticky notes as my dividers for now and then do some color coding as well based on different attributes, like can I make this dairy free because that's really important right now, or does this work well for large groups, that kind of thing. And so then I'll use the sticky notes to divide by like, this is a meal or an entree, this is a side dish, this is a soup, whatever, and go from there. So I think that's the plan. I don't have nearly as many as recipes as I thought I did, which makes a lot of sense because that's why I've been running out of recipes. And so I think this will be a good way for me to identify areas that I don't have a lot of ideas for, that I can go source some from cookbooks or the internet or whatever. So I think this is gonna actually be helpful in ways I didn't anticipate. So it's not only gonna cut down my meal planning time, but also allow me to introduce some new foods. Alright, it feels super late, but it's only 9:15. I'm just tired. I've got all my meals in the notebook now, and it's time to actually do the planning for next week. So I've got everything sorted. We've got regular meals, breakfasts, desserts, soups, breads, sides, and other, which is like guacamole and stuff that I wouldn't call it a side because you wouldn't serve it with a meal, but it is like an appetizer. So anyway, I don't have any of those, so I just stuck them in another category along with like some sauce recipes and stuff. So alright, so it's time to get down to what we're actually going to eat this week and see how well this system works. Alright, I'm done, thankfully. So that took a lot less time than usual, which was great. Got every meal planned for the week. I have something for every day. So there's usually weeks that the one day here or there I won't cook, and that probably will happen this time as well, but I'm going to plan to cook every day. And if something comes up, and that's fine. It's time to put this plan into action.
If you were paying really close attention and can read my handwriting, you probably realized that I did not plan to cook pancakes on Monday. I actually planned to cook a Dutch baby, which is also called a Dutch pancake. It's mainly eggs. But it turned out that Elijah wanted to eat some leftovers that we had, which was completely fine. And I had actually made some pancakes for me and the baby for lunch. So I warmed those up and we had pancakes and bacon for dinner. Tuesday, we had Mary made chicken and rice, which is definitely a family favorite. It's a lot easier than I expect it to be every time. I always think it's going to be super time consuming, but it's not, and it's so good. It's so good. If you haven't made it before, you should go make it like right now. Wednesday, we have fajitas. This is a staple for us. It's an easy meal. All it really requires is cooking up the chicken and chopping up some vegetables. After that, I mix up some fajita seasoning that I keep on hand. It's just made out of a blend of spices off a recipe I found on Pinterest, and pour it through, let it simmer, and you're good to go. Like I mentioned, we sometimes deviate from our meal plan, and we ate out Thursday for my birthday. Friday, I made a creamy tomato soup, and y'all, I don't think I've made this soup in like 2 years, and I love it so much. It's just perfect for fall. Elijah's not a huge fan of creamy soups. We usually have like some stuff that's more brothy, you know, lots of like meat in it, and this is a vegetarian soup. And so he was actually out of town that Friday, and so I made this soup because I love it so much. And it was so good. I apparently did not get any footage of what it looks like once I actually finished making it, but it's very creamy and smooth, and I don't have an immersion blender, so I did it the hard way, but it works. All right, so I finished my week of meal plans and meals, and I have to say this new planning system worked really, really well. Full disclosure, I've actually used it for 3 weeks now. I think it's been a little bit since I filmed my week of meals video, but we had a lot happening in the meantime, so it's now, which is the end of November, and I started this at the beginning of October, so it's been a minute. But with all that time, I can really see that this has worked super well for me, having all the recipes in one place, all organized. I mean, who would have thought that organization would have made my life easier? So I definitely still need to find some more entrees. I found a few in between making all the recipes or putting all the recipes in the binder and actually filming this portion. But I could use some more for sure. Kind of expand my, I'm going to say expand my palette, but it's more like expand my repertoire, I guess. That sounds so fancy for I need to cook more food. I really enjoyed all the meals that I made. I have to say the tomato soup was probably my favorite. Obviously, I didn't stick to the meal plan perfectly, but I never intend to stick to the meal plan perfectly. I make the plan and I know I have food that I can prepare for every night and we will not be hungry. And if something changes or if we go out or somebody brings food by or invites us over or whatever, that's fine. It's not a big deal. There's obviously a lot of variables that come in when you're just living life. And so it's good to be able to have a plan and then be flexible from the plan if you need to be. So, you know, you're prepared, but you could also not be super rigid. All in all, I don't have any changes I want to make to the system itself. Obviously, add more recipes, but besides that, I really liked the organization of it. I don't think I've used the color coding very much now that I look back on it, but I feel like that's helpful in theory, but I don't have enough recipes for it to be necessary. So as I add more recipes, I think it will become more useful to have them color coded, but currently I kind of forgot I did that, to be honest. So all that to say, thanks for joining me on this meal planning adventure, and stick around if you want to see more homemaking, regular life, trying to figure it out as a relatively new homemaker. Yeah, there will be more food and more projects and probably more little skits like at the beginning. I don't know if you call it a skit. A bit. It was the little bit at the beginning. I hope that maybe it's been a little helpful for you, or at least mildly entertaining. It's been such a blessing from the Lord to be able to stay home and care for my people, and I want to keep doing that. So I will take you along with me as we get some of that done. Next videos will be Christmas. I'm so excited. Wish me luck. Bye.